In this video, I would like you to listen to my story about my mother, a memory I have of her. I'm aged 7 years of age, and we are in the local Catholic church near where we live in my hometown. And I've been with her since 6 o'clock in the morning, helping her to milk 2 cows in the field behind our house in the town. After milking the cows, she would go to the local Catholic church to the early morning Mass at 7:30. And I am there. I am helping the Catholic priest to say Mass. And I can remember seeing my mother kneeling down on the left-hand side of the church. And I'm looking at her. And there she is, kneeling down with a scarf around her head. It's almost hiding her head. And she's looking down and she's saying her prayer. And the prayer is she's putting some beads through her hands, her fingers. We say it in English, she's saying her rosary. And I'm watching her with her fingers on the beads going through. It's a memory I've never forgotten. So I've often wondered what was going on in her head, because she seemed, to me anyway, to a young boy, that she was ignoring everything else in the church. She was totally concentrated on the beads in her hand. It's an amazing memory. And it was only when I began to meditate myself in 1990 did I remember that memory of my mother. And I realized then that she was meditating in her own way. She wouldn't even know the words to do with meditation or mantras or anything like that. But I realized that she was meditating in her own way. And that is a great lesson for any one of you who is listening to what I'm saying. Meditation is simple, absolutely simple. There's no way can it be any other way. She had no education. She would know nothing about the word spiritual, but she had learned how to meditate. And I discovered that memory. I began to realize not only was she meditating, but meditating, she found, was her way of discovering something very deep in herself. That is, her courage to keep going, her strength to bring up a family, to keep going through the ups and downs of what was then a tough life, just after the First World War. Sorry, the Second World War. I was born 1942. Looking back at the memory, it brings tears to my eyes, because I know today that even at that age of 7, she was an inspiration to me. And when I came to meditate, I can tell you today, I was following in her footsteps. I could say that she was my teacher. It was her answer to her own suffering and pain. Her meditation, like mine, it taught her to keep going, to do the best she could. What I can say today, her inner spirit, her strength, her courage, her wisdom, and her love for her children, that's what she was going through. And meditation gave her that strength and the courage and the wisdom to keep going. To every one of you who wants to learn to meditate, this same strength, courage, perseverance, wisdom, and love, it's emerging from inside in you. You won't get it outside. When you meditate, you become alive to your own life, to live your life without fear or anxiety. She reminds me as I'm talking to you, as she did then, she reminds me of a hero of mine, St. Augustine, who over 1600 years ago, he made the same discovery as my mother and I. He found his spirit in himself, and he was astonished by that. He found the depth of himself, which you can't really to put into words, or I cannot possibly explain it unless you too follow in our footsteps and learn to meditate. You will then learn to be able to say, as St. Augustine did, late in my life I have loved you, what was this within me? It is so beautiful, it's so old, and yet is so new. I looked for you everywhere, but you were within me. Meditation is available to every one of you. It kept my mother alive, it kept St. Augustine alive, and I could say, in difficult times, it kept me alive and changed my life. You can contact me anytime. I have meditation classes here. In my address is 1 Hanover Square, Dublin 8. Telephone number 087 6787 I'm afraid I can't give you St. Augustine's phone number or email. He's long since dead, and I hope he's happy with my mother. Thank you.